Hello everybody, my name is Dale Pimbera and welcome back to my channel. Today's topic, or this video specifically, will be based around how to use blending modes, to finish your artworks. So if you're interested in such a thing, don't be afraid to hit a like and a subscribe, and I'll be posting more content. But yeah, without further ado, let's get back into it. So now, before we get started, I need you to understand what is blending modes. Basically, blending modes are different types of modes that you can use to blend your images together and all those stuff. But in order for us to get into it, I need to explain the different types of blending modes. But keep in mind, I'll be only explaining the blending modes I use specifically to create the artworks. So I won't be talking about, for example, hard light or soft light or all those other stuff. I don't use those blending modes that often, but I'll be using specific ones. But either way, let's get into it. So I was starting with the shadow blending modes. So there are different types of shadow blending modes, but I only use two. I usually use linear blend and multiply, but mostly multiply. But for that, what is multiply? Multiply is simply multiplying each element toward more layers. So let me show you an example. As I say, I'll be using a sphere for now to show you the basic understanding of what these multiply layers do. So, or these blending modes do. So I'll be turning on my multiply layer right here, and two of them. So now there's something you should have noticed. How do you use multiply layers? Multiply layers are basically you open a new multiply layer and you select a dark color right here on your color palette. It can be any color, does not matter what it is, depending on what mode of your picture is, but you can choose any color on it. So once you choose the dark color over here, you open a new layer, as I said, then you fill up the part where you need the shading onto the picture. Once you fill it up, you switch the blending mode here from normal to multiply, and usually to be this dark. Then you just decrease the opacity to where you feel like it's pretty good or decent for your taste. But yeah, this is how I use multiply. Usually when you stack up multiple layers, you can breathe in extra depth and all the stuff. Then yeah, you can get a nice shadow. But that's not only shadow layer that's there. There's one that's next, is which I also used at the time, but I used in this picture. So I'm gonna show you linear blend. Before I show you how to use linear blend, let me explain what linear blend is. Linear blend is basically darkening the colors of the foundation layers. The linear blend mode combines the colors of the blending layer, and basically that's what it does. So basically it does it's more or less the same type of effect with multiply, but it has a darker feel into it. So in this case, I used it for the shadow of the ball, basically, right? That's what I used the linear blend for. So yeah, the same process as the multiply. You select a dark color, open your layer, and change the blending mode to multiply, or change it from normal to linear blend, and reduce the opacity. Then same process. Those are the two colors I use for shadows. But now let me get into lighting. Now there's different types of modes that I usually use for lighting. A lot, to be honest, a lot. But basically, these are the ones I use mostly. I usually use the mode lighting. I'll show you right now. As you can see, this is lighting. But overall, this mode mixes the color in the bottom layer with the brighter color, examining the layers in the top layer and the bottom layer. Basically, that's what it does, is right. Then there's also another light type of effect you can use. Light mode is also called screen. Screen is the colors used in the layer beneath and multiplied by those on the set layer after being inverted. So it basically gives the kind of different types of explanation. It gives a more or less the same effect as everything else. And then also I have color dodge. Color dodge, basically, I think you have known color dodge, but color dodge is the inverted top layer is divided by the bottom layer in the color dodge mix mode. Basically, it's the technical explanation, but yeah, depending on the value of the top layer, this will brighten the bottom layer. The brighter the top layer, the more its color will influence the bottom layer. White is produced by mixing any color with white. Black doesn't impact the image when blending with it. So if you try to use blending or color dodge specifically, Whereas with any of this, black, it does not really work as well, or it just doesn't work at all. Then the other mode I use is glow dodge. Glow dodge mode basically creates a stronger effect than the color dodge mode. That's what it is, just color dodge mode to the extreme in a way, but I basically use glow dodge a lot more than color dodge as well. So, and then our last but not least, technically, but it's last on this list, is add and add glow. Basically add is just glow, but add glow is slightly more stronger than add. That's what it is. But in this case, let me show you the ones I used in the picture of the sphere. So I used glow dodge and add glow. So let me show you what I did. So in this case, for the ambient occlusion or the bounce light that's coming back to the sphere, I used add. Is what I used. So I used add and glow to create the ambient occlusion. If you're wondering why the textures look like this, I basically use the texture to brush to paint over the same thing. So now in this case, if we basically implemented the type of techniques, you basically open a new layer on top of all of your multiply layers. Technically, once you open a new layer, you select the lighter color here, right here in your color wheel. Once you select the light color, doesn't matter what it is, it depends on your taste. But I use the light blue on this one. So select the color on top here, then you paint where you want the color is. You don't have to use it for ambient occlusion. It's basically used for any type of lighting. But I used it in this case for bounce light. So yeah, that's what I did. So I did that, edit, same thing as multiply, fill up where we need, change the mode from multiply to add or add glow, and then reduce the opacity. I reduced my 145 for add, and then for add glow I reduced it to 29. This is how I got my effect. And then last but not least, as I say, in this version I used color dodge. Color dodge for that bright spot on the sphere. So that's what I used. For what I did, it's the same process. Pick a color you need. I chose pink in this case, or closer to purple or something like that. And then I filled it up, but I did not reduce the opacity. But you could do the same thing here. You can change from color dodge to glow dodge, you get a different effect, or you can change it into add glow, you get a different effect. Basically, anything like that. You also can change it, as I say, to screen just to show you. You see the way it is, and lighten to show you as well. So these are different type of modes. Usually just experiment with yourself, find the ones you need, then yeah, overall that'll be fine. There'll be a document I'll be listing down in the description below, where you can follow step by step or understand how each blending mode works. But overall, this is how you work. I'm gonna be sticking with color dodge. That's why I like the picture, and overall that's how everything looks like. This is how it's good. It's pretty good, right? But yeah, and now I'm gonna show you the examples of artworks I've been using this technique or implementing this technique onto. But yeah, let me launch those for a moment and yeah, I'll check it in. Now, let me show you how those principles I've told you about can apply to an artwork. So this is one of the stuff I've been working on, but yeah, I can literally turn off everything and show you the plain color, as you can see. So basically, this is how it's supposed to look like when it's done, isn't it, right? Of course, this is just flag colors, or now I put the background, and then this is where I came into it a bit. I put a shading, isn't it, right? First of all, it was a full shading. It wasn't like this the first time, but it was full shading. Then I erased in between so that you could get some sort of lighting. But it's shading, multiply shading, another shading, for details and stuff. So far I've been using multiply, but you could toggle through again, linear bend and darken. Couple of those, you can go through those. But yeah, I've been using multiply so far, as you can see, for extra details. So that's what I've been doing. Then glow dodge, this is the one I use for lighting, and I use subtract. Subtract gives this a feeling. If I have to turn off glow dodge, as you can see, subtract gives this vivid, like reddish feel into it. But yeah, also glow dodge is how I put it inside. Then I used add glow for the highlights, right here. Used add glow for the highlights, and when they use linear bend here for the shadows. Let me show you quick. I use linear bend for the shadows. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, you see, I will use linear bend for the shadows. and then the shadow of the character, my bad. Then I use color dodge for the red highlight, and then yeah, overall this is how a final picture would look like. And then I could show you an example of an image I've been working on, and that will be up next. Let me just launch that up quick. Before I start, I wanted to mention that, as you can see, it's not really completed, but it gives already a feeling. I wanted to show you. So yeah, this artwork I've been working with Timman. Is currently October Prime on Instagram. But yeah, he did the drawing, and I've been doing the coloring. So yeah, but yeah, overall, let me show you. It's the same principles I've been saying before. So you just go to glow dodge. As I say, lightening. For lightening, I use glow dodge. I use glow dodge on this one. As you can see, it's already losing its feel. The outlines are there, but multiply shadows, as you can see. Then the multiply, as you can, basically, this is what makes majority of the image, as you can see, from the way it was before, the way it is now, and the way it was before. As you can see, if you add back the shadows, you see the egg glow and all. Yeah, this is pretty cool. But yeah, these are the type of techniques that you could apply to put a mood, or give a cinematic type of feel into your artworks, as I've shown you in the previous artwork and this one. It's pretty amazing. So yeah, these are the tips on how to use blending modes and Clip Studio. I hope you like it. If you like it, I know, hit the like button and hit the subscribe button, and yeah, and inform me if you want to see a tutorial on something else as well. But yeah, overall, thank you for your time, and I'm out.